We did it, we did it, we did it, we baked, we baked. Bacon, 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 pow! Hi everyone, and welcome to an episode of Kim Wilpon Crafts. On today's very special episode, we are crafting with friends, with our friend, Michelle. Hey Michelle! Woo-hoo!
Hey Kim! Woohoo!
How are you doing? How's it going?
I'm good, you know. Been inside for a few months now.
Inside good. Outside bad.
Oh yeah. I have asked you to become a part of this segment because we're friends. But also because I have been following your incredible Instagram stories of your bakes and those crumb shots. And I'm enamored. I just wanted to bake something with you so I could have like a taste of your baking journey. But can you tell me a little bit about your baking journey before we get started today?
Oh, absolutely. And first of all, thank you, because all I have wanted to do for the last 5.5 months is cook with my friends and bake with my friends. So this is really filling a hole for me. I was like obsessed with the Food Network when I was younger, and I was homeschooled. So when I wasn't doing school, I was watching the Food Network.
Me too.
And I started kind of experimenting in the kitchen when I was like in high school, trying to make like cookies and sometimes the odd like macaron or whatever. But it was kind of just like an outlet. And then now that I have nothing to do, I don't have a job and I can't go anywhere. I was just trying to find a way to be productive. And it was like, okay, if I have to be here, like what can I do? What can I make?
Right.
And food is a really easy answer to that. So I like binged The Great British Bake Off again. I like rewatched the whole series.
So good.
It's so good, and it's so like pure. It's pure entertainment.
It truly is.
I made a list of all of the things that I wanted to try and make that they made on the show.
Can you like name just a couple of those? Because I'm curious.
Hold on. I have a terrible memory, and my list is on my phone, which is hanging above my head right now. But let me think. Because all the hard stuff I've been putting off. Like there's a bunch of like puff pastry things, and that stuff just takes like 6 hours, and I don't always want to be actively working that long.
Right. Yes.
That's why I like bread. You can just kind of like mix it up and like let it sit, and then I can go and like watch whatever I want on Netflix and come back to it in 2 hours, and it's a really nice way to break up the day.
I love that. So when we were preparing for this episode, I always talk to my friends prior. Obviously, we don't just like say, hey, let's craft together, and then, and then we're like, poof, we both know what we're doing. So when we were chatting, Michelle knows that I am celiac, and now you know. That means I can't have gluten.
You don't even know what gluten is.
What gluten is?
No, you have no idea
I
what
do know what gluten is.
It makes me very ill and very uncomfortable if I ingest it. So Michelle asked me, what have you missed that you can't get gluten-free? And I thought, that is an incredible question, first of all. And then secondly, instantly, I was like, rainbow cookies. I love rainbow cookies. Michelle, do you love rainbow cookies?
I love rainbow cookies. They're like the thing that I would grab. They were always right by the register at my grocery store in New York. And I would just like always grab it on my way out. It was a perfect snack for like when you want dessert but you don't want to make anything.
Yes.
It's just like there's something so luxurious because it's not a cookie, let's be clear. They call them cookies.
It's not a cookie.
It is a 3-layer almond cake with ganache and jam. Like, that's not a cookie, but I love to be casual about it.
They kind of remind me of, like, if I were to think of a Pettifor and New York City got together and created a cookie, it would be a rainbow cookie.
It's really good. And just iconic. I mean, like, you know it when you see it. The colors.
Obviously, the colors.
Not a full rainbow, but like rainbow enough.
Oh, but this makes me want to do like more rainbowing.
Let's not get crazy.
Okay. We won't get crazy.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
All right. So, Michelle, what are we doing first?
Washing our hands.
Washing our hands.
We love hygiene.
We love hygiene.
Sing your 20-second song. Make sure you get in between all your fingers.
What's next?
And step 2 is preheat the oven because we want to be able to pop our cakes in when they're ready to go.
That's right. What are we preheating them to?
We're going to 350 today.
350.
Yep. I'm gonna say double check the position of your oven racks. We're going for like mid-oven.
Mid-oven.
So now we mix the batter.
I was gonna use a standing mixer, but I also have bowls. What would you say is the best?
If I had a stand mixer, I would use it.
So I'm gonna use it.
I have this $15 hand mixer that I picked up at a Walgreens, so I'm gonna use that. And as long as it has the power to cream your butter and sugar together, you're good.
So that's the important thing here right now, is the creaming of the butter and the sugar.
And the almond paste.
And the almond paste, okay.
That's all gonna go in the first step. There's not a lot of leavener in the cake, so we're gonna get most of our air and lightness from the initial step of mixing the butter. We're gonna whip air into it, and then we're gonna do the same thing with the egg whites, and that will be what gives us a cake.
Egg whites. So you said 3 sticks of butter, so we're just sticking the butter in?
I would cut it into like 1-inch pieces. If you want to divide it up by tablespoons, that's just going to make your life easier with the mixer.
I appreciate that.
And we do want it to be soft. When you make cakes and things, you want your butter to be room temperature. And once you get the butter in the bowl, you're just going to want to break up your almond paste in kind of a similar way.
8 ounces of this almond paste.
Amazing. I used the Solo brand just because it said gluten-free on the box.
That's what I got.
Amazing. And you know what? This is like the one that the Italian grandmas use, according to the recipes I looked at. So I trust it.
This smells like home. I feel like I should have gotten out a cutting board, but it's too late. Is it too late?
Oh, you have clean hands. You can just break it apart with your hands if you want.
And I'll just tear it apart. Oh, it smells like the cookie. This is what it smells like, the cookie. I'm so excited. My heart is like boom, 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 boom. Okay, so what's next? And then we sugar?
We sugar. We do 1 cup of granulated sugar.
Okay, so 1 cup is going in.
And then we're actually going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla and a 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract, just to help the almond pop a little bit.
Ooh, was I supposed to start it?
You can. My mixer's gonna be really loud, just a warning, so.
Okay, I feel like I put it on the wrong setting. Should I have used this one?
What are you using, a whisk?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Except it's like sitting all inside the whisks, like nothing's happening. Like it looks like that.
Yeah, maybe change your attachment for this beginning, which means just keep it on. Just keep on the paddle. It's gonna be a while for mixing. It's gonna feel like a million years. It's gonna be like 4 minutes.
Okay, 4 minutes, wow.
I know, but we really wanna make sure that everything gets incorporated. We want the sugar it's gonna kind of like cut through the butter and the almond paste, and that's gonna be what aerates it. And then we'll add in our egg yolk to start bringing everything together.
So while that's happening, I will separate my eggs and my egg whites and my yolks.
Incredible.
All right, and we're on. So things are happening there. That's exciting. Oh, yeah. Things are fluffy. Our bowl is fluffy.
We're fluffy. We're looking great.
Look at this bowl. Do you see how fluffy that is? That's incredible fluff.
I just kind of want to like dive right into it.
It smells unbelievable. All right, so what happens next?
So now we're gonna add our egg yolks.
Yolks.
Just dump them in. It seems like a lot of egg, but the trick with gluten-free stuff sometimes, if you're ever trying to like convert a regular recipe to a gluten-free recipe, for example, add an extra egg and it will help bind things together, which is something that regular flour is good for, and it will help add moisture because gluten-free stuff loves to get dry and crumbly. We've added our egg yolks. We're gonna mix them up Just set the stand mixer again. We're gonna do probably like 2 minutes of mixing this time.
All right, so we've got our eggs in here for working for 2 minutes.
A few minutes later.
And that 2 minutes is up.
Okay, so the consistency shouldn't have changed too much. It's just like a little bit yellower now. Still pretty light and fluffy and airy, and that's just how we want it. So next, we're gonna add in the dry ingredients. And this is where we get into the really fun, like gluten-free stuff. And we're doing 2 cups of the 1-to-1 gluten-free flour mix.
This is what we're using.
And then we're also going to add in a little bit of tapioca starch. There's already some in this gluten-free flour blend, but I like the texture and the binding properties of tapioca a lot. I think it helps to mimic the texture of glutinous cake. So I'm adding just a little extra to support.
Okay, so then how much of the tapioca are we doing?
3 tablespoons, which is basically a 1/4 cup, but a little bit less.
Next, we're gonna do a teaspoon of baking soda. The recipe says a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna say if the amount in a recipe is ever that small, it really just means a healthy pinch. So give it, I would say, like maybe 3 minutes of mixing and see where you are.
On a low, right?
Yeah, low is good.
Okay, so now we have cleaned our things. There's no butter residue anywhere here. So now we put the egg whites in?
Yes, put the egg whites in, and then as an extra security measure, we're gonna put a little bit of lemon juice into them, and that will help stabilize them. So even if there is a little bit of fat in the bowl, they should still work out. We're going for stiff peaks here today.
Okay, let's get this going.
Let's get it going. I won't be able to hear you. God, I wish this year was over.
Okay, we got a pig. Look at that.
Oh, I love that.
Right there.
Look at that baby peak. So now that we have the egg whites ready to go, get your other bowl of all the other good stuff that we mixed up, and you can dump your egg whites into there. And now we delicately fold.
What does that mean? What does fold in the cheese mean? He folds it in.
So now we're gonna divide our batter because we're making 3 layers and they're all gonna be a different color. So get 2 other bowls. You can definitely reuse your egg white bowl. It's okay if our layers aren't perfectly even. Who cares? So now we get our food coloring out.
Yes, red, yellow, and green.
I like to use a gel-based food coloring as opposed to like the ones in the squeezy bottles, just because adding extra liquid to batter is kind of not ideal. It won't make a huge difference if you do. We're going yellow first. You can truly use as much or as little as you want. Like, this is personal preference. Make your rainbow as bright as you are.
I love that. Make your rainbow as bright as you are.
Should we put that on a t-shirt?
Yeah, make your rainbow as bright as you are. While I cry about how beautiful that statement is.
And then again, taking care not to deflate the batter too much as you fold everything in.
If you say fold in one more time.
It says fold it in.
Okay, let's mix this and see where we are with the Oh, you said fold, and I already was like, swoosh, swoosh.
A couple swooshes won't hurt it. Amazing. Now set her aside and you can do the red or the green, whichever you prefer. And it's really just rinse and repeat with the different colors.
Okay, my colors are ready.
So let's get our baking vessel. I'm gonna have to bake mine in 3 batches because I'm just using 1 sheet tray.
Sames. This is what I have closest to a 9 by 12.
That is perfect. I think mine is a little small. I might have some extra batter today. As long as all of your layers are the same size as each other, it doesn't matter.
So what goes on?
Let's make sure we line with some parchment paper. And then once the parchment paper is down, you can just pick whichever layer you want to bake first and start spreading it. We just want a thin, even layer. Make sure it doesn't even have to touch all of the sides because we're gonna probably trim the edges to neaten them up in the end anyway. But as long as your layer is even across whatever surface area it covers, we're in good places. Then we're just gonna pop it in the oven. I would check it after 10 minutes. We'll see where we are, and then we'll probably add 5 minutes onto that. While we're waiting for this layer to bake, we can get started on the jam that is going to glue everything together in the end. We're jamming.
Jamming.
So jam is really amazing because it's the easiest thing in the world. You don't even really need a recipe. Equal parts fruit and sugar, a little bit of lemon juice if you want to make sure that the sweetness is balanced out. And we just heat it up on the stove until it reduces into jam.
Okay, great.
I think I used 10 ounces of raspberries and the same for sugar, but I mean, as long as you have at least 6 ounces, which is what a small carton of raspberries usually is, I think that will be plenty of jam for our purposes.
And just turn the oven on?
Yeah, you can turn the stove on. I have a gas stove. I'm gonna do like a medium flame. So you can stir as often or as little as you like. I recommend doing it at least every few minutes just to make sure the edges and the bottom isn't like sticking or burning by accident.
It's pretty wet in there.
Yeah, the raspberries are all breaking down and releasing all that nice juice. I've got a lot of liquid, and that's the time-consuming part, is we're waiting for all of this liquid to release, and then we're waiting for it to kind of cook off.
So, do we think it's a good time for us to take off the cookie?
Yes, take your first layer off. I would just slide it directly onto the counter, kind of as little movement as possible.
It feels kind of cookie-ish, actually.
Is it? It should be like a little stodgier than like a regular cake.
It's a little firmer. You know, it feels like part cookie.
Okay, we got jam on the stove. We got another layer of cake going in the oven.
Yes. Gonna get that red one in there.
If we weren't baking these in batches, I would definitely recommend resting the batter. With gluten-free cakes especially, you want to give the flour time to really absorb the wet ingredients before it goes in the oven, and that will cut down on some of the grittiness that can happen with gluten-free flour blends.
Ah, education. Are we sieving this jam through?
We are going to sieve it, yes. Get the little seeds out, just so that way we don't have a crunchy layer in between the cookie.
Respect. Final layer is in.
I'm spreading mine out right now. You're a little bit ahead of me, but that's good.
Also, while she's spreading, I'm just gonna say that if you don't want to do this part, this is like a little more involved. It's not just the baking. You can just go and get some raspberry jam, raspberry jelly. You can also get some apricot if you want, and mix it up, change it up.
Indeed. You never need to make your life like harder than it has to be. If something exists pre-made and you don't feel like making it, don't make it. Baking should be a fun, easy thing for you. If it's stressful,
Yes.
You're doing it wrong.
And then we just run our finger through it?
Yeah, just dip the back of the spoon in the jam, give it a second so you don't burn yourself, run your finger through it, and if it feels thick and you leave it like a nice clean line, that means it's thick enough.
All right, friends, so we've got our last layer in the oven and our jam is cooling. And we'll come back when everything is done and cooled so we can start assembling.
We have our cakes, we have our jam. It's time to do some rough assembly. We're gonna start with the green layer because the green layer is the base of the rainbow cookie.
Something good for spreading. We're spreading on the jam, right?
That's right, we are spreading on the jam. It doesn't have to be too much, we're just doing a thin layer. Just try and cover it as consistently as you can. Spread it out to the edges. This is our glue.
I feel like I'm doing that thing where painters they pour it out and then they're like, okay, now I'll spread it.
Yes, that's the move.
Trying to take mine all the way to the edges.
Don't press down too hard like I just did, or you might kind of rip up the top of your cake. Still a little soft. Honestly, if it breaks a little bit, it really doesn't matter because it's going to be in the middle, but we're going to try and be careful. Okay, we have stuck the landing. Not too bad.
And then just flip it like a pancake. 1, 2, bam. All right, not so bad.
Did you do it? Oh my God.
I flipped it.
You flipped it.
I could get it back all the way. I can get it all the way on, I think. We had some crackage. I also just split the cake because it was falling off the edge, and that's fine.
Let's spread our next layer of jam.
Yes, the jam. The jam's gonna fix this whole thing.
Jam's the glue, baby.
All right, I'm gonna put this final layer on, yeah?
It's time for the final one.
That is a crunchier layer than the others, but that's okay.
That's
but
okay.
It's all together, which feels like we did it.
Okay, this is the most nerve-wracking part. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, okay. So now we have all 3 layers on. We have our jam in between.
Yes.
Okay, then the next thing we're gonna do is just put some saran wrap over it.
Okay.
Just put something kind of heavy on top, like a glass bottom baking dish. Kind of just to like compress it, make sure everything sticks together overnight.
Okay.
And then when we wake up tomorrow, it's gonna be nice and like glued together.
Yay! See you tomorrow, friends!
Tomorrow we get to play with chocolate.
Bye!
The next day.
All right, we are back. It is day 2 of baking rainbow cookies with our friend Michelle. Hey Michelle, happy Catterday to you.
Happy Catterday, Kim.
So we have taken out our cookies all night and it felt really good about its choices.
I think so. What's not to like about an evening sandwich between some cake and jelly? Whatever choices it made, it will feel better once it's covered in chocolate.
Chocolate. So that's what we're doing today, yes?
Yes, today is all about chocolate. And then we're going to divide up the cookies into the little individual rectangles that make them a cookie.
This is a dream. So what's the game plan?
We're going to melt our chocolate over the stove in a double boiler, just until it's fluid enough to spread over the top. And then we'll cut everything up into the little individual cookies.
I got Ghirardelli.
That is a luxurious and wonderful choice, Kim. I'm just using semi-sweet baking chocolate. It's really dealer's choice on this, though. Use whatever chocolate makes you feel the fanciest and the tastiest.
I'm just gonna put, you said 8 ounces, right?
I believe the recipe calls for 8 to 10.
Just putting on all the chocolate. We're just, it's a what, a 12-ounce bag? Extra chocolate for us. So what is our temp?
It's really easy to overheat chocolate. So we want to take it low and slow today to prevent it from seizing up, which is what can happen if you heat chocolate too much too fast. We're really just looking for the chocolate to be like liquid. So we're going to do it by eye rather than temperature today.
Low and slow. Okay, I'm also going to unwrap my cookie just so it breathes.
We just want to be conscious that our cakes aren't quite at room temp, but also not straight out of the fridge when the chocolate goes on. It's just gonna go right back in the fridge. So a nice in-between is gonna help the chocolate set fast.
This is, wow. I think that came out the way that I wanted. That extra red paid off.
My cakes are cute. I think I might have shorted the red layer on this one. It might be a little thin, but we'll see once we cut it open.
Green is always my favorite layer. I'm gonna just stir this a little bit. I don't like it when the bottom layer gets heated first and then I've gotta like work to get the top layer incorporated. No, no, no. This is my kitchen.
This is my house.
Now, do we need to add anything to this while it melts or just let it be?
We're just going to let it be because we want the chocolate to have a little snap to it. If I wanted a softer chocolate layer, I might add some heavy cream or coconut milk and make like a ganache. But that's not what we're doing today. All right, we're melting. The chocolate is melting.
I think it's supposed to be indicative of the Italian flag. We'll just show you a little what the Italian flag looks like here, and that is not it. But it is an Italian cookie, right?
It is an Italian cookie, but I'm like 98% sure it's an Italian American cookie rather than an Italian like the motherland cookie. I think that this came out of some immigrant nostalgia.
Interesting. If you are from Italy and you are watching and your grandmother makes these in Italy, message me in the comments. I've got some questions.
And I'd love to be proven wrong.
Oh, it is melty.
Chocolate is the most fun thing that I think we ever get to play with in baking.
Should we start spreading the news?
Yeah, just take your pastry brush or your spatula, whatever you're using. I like to start in the middle and then spread out to the edges. And it doesn't have to be perfect.
It's actually not that hard to spread. And I'm doing it with my rubber spatula, so.
Same. Make a little swirl if you feel.
And then just doing the outside. And then work my way in.
I'm almost there. Ooh, that's a hot bowl I just touched. Ooh. So once the chocolate is spread to the edges in a nice even layer, we're just gonna pop this baby back in the fridge. Probably 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how hot your chocolate was and how cool your fridge was.
So now I'm spread. I'm gonna do a quick sweep through with this old friend, and that's good.
I've got a nice little tsitsi. I don't know if you can see that. I don't want my cakes to fall over.
20 minutes later.
I am so excited.
Okay, everything is cool. It won't stay cool for long because my kitchen is 1,000,000 degrees, but we're working with what we got. This is the fun part where we get to play with fire if you want, or you can play with hot water if you prefer. It's just gonna make everything easier if we can heat up the knife before we divide things up.
Aha. Okay, I'm gonna do this on the cutting board because it's there.
Okay, are you using hot water?
I'm gonna use hot water for my sink because it's hot.
Great. You'll probably want to keep it running while we do it, just so you can like dip it back under, clean off the knife.
Okay.
I am running my lighter along the edge of my knife. And we're going for rectangles that are like 1 inch by 2 inches. They're pretty small cookies.
I'm just cutting the edges first. Is that okay?
Oh yes, great point. Let's trim the edges. Let's make a nice straight line. Oh, Kim, I think that this is amazing. I just peeked at the end of mine. Ah! Look! This is so thrilling. Okay. I didn't expect it to look that good. Ooh, I'm so proud of us.
Me too. Wow.
They don't need to be perfect. It just needs to be what it is.
You really gotta drag the knife all the way down.
Oh yeah, because they're thick.
I've made these so big. Oh my gosh, I made these huge.
I think mine are on the small side. They're definitely not all the same size. I believe in rustic baking. I believe nothing should ever look too good. Otherwise, I feel like a robot made it.
Just want to say that this looks perfect. You look perfect.
I cannot believe how amazing we are.
The joy on my face is like unreal right now. Okay, here we go.
Tell me how you feel about it.
I'm not gonna cry about a cookie.
Do they hold up?
This is good. Like real good.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear it. That's really good. I would have no idea this was gluten-free if I didn't make it myself and if somebody plopped it down in front of me.
It's a wow moment. This is a wow moment. Wow.
If you want to store these, airtight container, room temperature for what you can eat in the next couple of days. Everything else airtight in the freezer. Just defrost them whenever you want to eat them.
Eat them. They're delicious. We can leave a recipe down below. Yes, a link for a recipe.
Yes, definitely. I will type everything that we did out and we can put it in a PDF.
And that is gonna be for your joy. These are so good. Michelle, where can people find you on the Instagrams?
On the Instagram, I am at Michelle Owens 12. Yeah, I post about my baking stuff in my stories. I post about my art stuff on the rest of it.
She's amazing. Thank you so much, friends, for watching this video today. If you enjoyed what you saw today, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And I just want to give another big thank you to Michelle. From whom without this episode would not have happened.